live. Okay.
It's always
Awesome.
a maybe.
Maybe.
Hey,
What's up, everybody? How you doing
Everybody?
out there in
Welcome,
the internet
world.
land?
Yay.
all our
Yay.
billions of viewers.
Oh, billions and billions of viewers.
Well,
That's right.
I I get this confirmation from China, and they said, they're listening in. It's in a
Yeah,
it's in a
and the
balloon.
balloon.
It's in a
Oh, no.
balloon, so they can actually hear us better. And
Right? Hey, Grumpy Poo, all the way from Scotland. Hi, Chris. Sorry.
Awesome.
we need. I do think we need one of those little romper room things. I see. Anyhow, and I posted
You need
out
one
there
of
on-
these?
Well, yes. Well, kind of.
Bumper, boo. Tell me who. I
Oh,
see
Lord.
Adrian and
We just started and we're already off the rails.
Okay.
You know what?
No.
I'm just thinking that really made Ken's head look really big.
Oh, wow.
And
Well,
Jessica's going, what did I get into here?
right,
I did
right.
post on our Facebook page that that Pam is running them up tonight. So
It's
I
Pam
am.
night.
We are all about Kansas tonight, which is really cool. And our special guest is actually my teammate. Her name is Jess Holeman. She's with me on Southeast Kansas Border Town Paranormal. And we've got all kinds of fun stuff to talk about tonight. Jess has had some really cool experiences. Some of them I've been there with her too. So yeah, we have some cool evidence to share and some cool stories to talk about.
Yay.
So woohoo.
Welcome, Jess.
welcome. Does she speak?
You're
She
supposed to have a soundboard, Adrian. Don't you have some clapping or something going on back there?
I think it's that's the wrong one. It's not that one either. Hey,
No.
maybe.
There we go.
Thank you.
We could just clap. How's that?
Good. Anyhow, maybe I should learn these buttons. It should say clap, but it doesn't. It's a C. Oh, well, that's a clap.
See?
Or clap.
See, senor.
Oh my.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'll bring my
Crazy,
sound
crazy.
machine next week.
Well, and then I think we're aptly named.
So if we can
Shut up.
dive into this.
I got
Yeah,
it.
everybody shut up. No, I'm kidding.
We're like, hi, Jessica, and then we all start talking. She goes,
Okay.
She's just gonna nap. Wait on us. So
Back to
Jess,
you.
tell us a little bit about what got you into the paranormal to begin with.
Oh, what got me into the paranormal? So I think my story is probably like just every other person who's into the paranormal. I started when I was really young. I was the kid in the library hunting for the mysteries of the universe books and R.L. Stein and just those little old little pamphlet kind of books that had, all the Discover the Bigfoot and stuff. And I was that kid. I always kind of had a wonder about all this paranormal stuff going on. And I had a few things that happened to me personally when I was little. And, it was just, instead of being one of those kids that was like super scared and hiding underneath the covers, I was the one that wanted to go look, what is it? So it was kind of perfect for me to become an investigator because I'm one of the people that doesn't run. Well, I run towards it. So.
Yes, for sure.
So
But that's how I got started. In my teen years, it built, I became a teen in the early 90s, and that's kind of when kind of ghost hunting and stuff kind of started to get a little popular. It wasn't quite on TV yet, but I was like, oh, there's other people out there like me. So, and I started kind of doing it on my own. I didn't have an actual team until I met Pam and some of the other people in 2012, but I always had like one friend I'd managed to drag along with me until they got too scared to go any further. So.
Yes, darn it.
Well, I like to ask people what angle do you come at it? I know Pam comes at it from like a history angle. So do you come at it from a history angle or more like a scientific or spiritual or what approach?
So I come from a historian family, so I'm like Pam, I research too, but I also like to bring the scientific into it. And I wouldn't call it spiritual as in church, a religious type of way, but more as in a way as I'm a little bit more open to the odd in the world, you know. Like I said before, I like the wonder of it. So I always come at it in that like scientific kind of way, because a lot of stuff can get proven very quickly if you go about it in a scientific, reasonable manner. And of course, we do our research like crazy, so we kind of have a general idea of what we're walking into, history-wise. But just a little bit of that spiritual on top, you know. I know there's more than just us out there, and it has a play on everything. It's like Pam and I always love to say, everything's connected.
So like a broad approach, a little bit of this, a little bit of that.
Yeah, because, you know, you got to come at it from all different ways, because then you're not looking at it all. You can't.
No, you don't. You come at it one direction only.
His is the right way.
My way is the right way. No.
If you come in with it with a bias already, you've already screwed up the investigation.
Well, I know, I agree with that.
Yep.
Which is why my team, I like to have people with a whole bunch of different thought processes, and just me and my wife. If you've ever around us, I guess you will be around us in the
Adrian.
What? Adrian. You'll see. We don't always agree. So and so it's good to have like a whole bunch of different opinions on things. So, but yeah,
especially when it comes to the paranormal, because my husband is the biggest. Well, I say the biggest skeptic, though I've met Adrian.
well, you had the same kind of story like my wife does. Say, you know, she was the creepy kid, always liked all the stuff. So she actually comes at it more from a folklore angle. So she knows what all the folklore is, and so she approaches any investigation looking at it from that. And she'd very much common sense. So just because something moves, she can figure out why it moved, versus some people like, oh, it moved, it must be paranormal. So that's why I always ask that. I like to ask, because most people come at from like, you're skeptics. They always say, well, I take it from a scientific angle, and they just throw out everything else. And then you have the spiritual or the woo-woo people who don't care about any of the electronics or science and all that. It's all about how they feel. And then you have the historians, and, you know, so, and a lot of people come at things from a historian side. I don't know if you do this, Pam or Jessica, when you're looking at it. What do you think of when you talk about, what is it? When the ghosts are just play themselves back. I forgot the word. Totally lost it. Ken, you know what I'm talking about.
Starts with an R.
Yeah, here we are.
Huh?
Residual.
Yes, residual.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So what do you think of that stuff?
That's science.
That's science. Yeah.
Science.
That makes sense. It does make sense, because you got to have some kind of a physical attribute in order to generate that event to occur.
Yeah.
So it's a scientific.
And it occurs no matter what's going on. It just repeats itself. It doesn't interact with you at all. So it's not an
I've never
intelligent
had anything
haunt.
that just happened that didn't interact. So I've never experienced what I would consider a residual haunt. But I do wonder about those sounds, because I do have occasionally, just on the other side of the door, I'll hear 3 footsteps, and then our bedroom door, which is on the other side, will jiggle. So, and that happens periodically and not always at the same time. So I don't know what that means.
Just, something that got recorded in the atmosphere.
Yeah. Or James, as we like to call him, is just trying to come to bed. I don't know. Anyhow, I like that.
I wouldn't want to picture that. I mean, what does James look like?
He's about 5'7", slender build, crew cut. I'd say he looked mid-40s to me, but anyhow.
Kind of has a plain complexion. It's kind of gray, kind of cloudy.
I think that was me when I saw him. I was like, anyhow.
Oh, anyway.
So Jess, tell us about what is, of all the things that we have done or you've done on your own, what is your favorite, do you think? Favorite experience?
I think my favorite is all of our missing time, added time, lost time. I don't know. You guys have all been talking to cancer so long. Our team is prone to this time stuff. It's insane. Nearly every time we do a bit of investigation, there's missing time or added time. And frankly, I think it's Pam's fault. I think it all points to her.
It seems to occur when I'm around. So for those, we are having a little bit of a problem hearing you, Jess. So I might, or one of us is probably going to repeat what you've said. So to answer that question, her favorite thing is missing time or added time. We've had both happen to us. In different investigations, different places, different times of year, it doesn't seem to really matter. She said that they blame it on me, which it does seem to occur more often when I'm around for whatever reason.
I've only heard of missing time happen with aliens, so
maybe. Well, you know, yeah, who knows? Who knows?
No, I mean, that's an interesting question to our viewers too. Have you ever heard of that in like ghost hunting? I've never heard that in ghost hunting lost time. You have?
Oh yeah.
I'm pointing at you like the whole world knows.
You mean of time slips or added time or missing time in ghost hunting?
I've heard of that.
I've actually seen a hallway that wasn't there, and it looked so real. And when I came back to it, I thought, I gotta come back here and go down this hallway that I didn't know existed that night. And when I came back, it was just a wall.
No.
And when I checked on some people, this was at Silicon too. Anyway, I was talking to this person. I said it was a hospital, and she said that she'll check into it for me. And when I heard back from her about 2 weeks later, we heard I was told that there was a hallway there at one time 50 years ago.
Oh wow!
Oh wow!
And it went the entire building, and only half the building was vacant at the time. So it was crazy. So yeah, I've actually seen that. And time, I was telling you before, we also, my buddy and I, we experienced time loss or time, I don't know what you'd call it, slip or whatever, at the museum we talked about a little while ago over in Fort Smith.
Hey, Jess, check your
we'll talk about that.
Or your text on your phone real quick.
I've done the time warp.
Let's do the time warp again.
But I've not, and I have lost time, I guess, while driving because I don't know if I lost time. I just remember that I drove like a full half hour and don't remember none.
Wow.
But
that's
I lived
your
through
mind
it,
being on autopilot, probably.
Yeah.
No, I've never had anything like that. Has it been in multiple locations or just a specific location?
Multiple.
Wow.
Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah,
much better
much
now.
better.
I don't know what's wrong with Pam.
I switched out my microphones.
So. Yay!
I was right.
Yeah.
Better.
Awesome.
Okay. Yeah, it's been in multiple locations. God, I can't even count how many times it's happened. So the first time it really truly happened to us was Pam and I gone out and done an investigation out in the Sandhills. That's east of Caney of us here. We have some places we like to go to out there. And we went out and about for a couple of hours, came back and realized that we had gained an hour. We came back for lunch and realized it wasn't noon, it was 11.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Freakiest thing ever.
Yeah.
That would be freaky.
Someday you'll have to have her tell you that story because it's lengthy, but it's a good one.
Share it because it's really good.
Oh, okay.
Sounds like you
time off, but it wasn't. I mean, I've had that happen.
I can get the guys to shh.
Tell us your story, Jess.
I will. So, just a little quick backstory on it so you know why. So, we have these, we call them the sand hills outside of Caney here. And it's the place where everybody goes to party. We have a big river that's out there. A ley line passes through that area, and it is thick with old legends and lore, Bigfoot, cryptids, ghosts, little people, anything you want, name it, it's out there. And it's a hotbed, especially when the river picks up. We have a good storm come through. It seems to generate the ley lines and kind of causes these spurts of craziness. We use that area out there. We go and take meter readings a couple times a year. We do investigations out there, especially with rods and stuff, and we just get the most interesting stuff. And Pam and I we were bored one day, and we were like, you know what? Let's go out and check our spots. So we grabbed up all of our stuff. We grabbed up some meters, and I grabbed my little notebook and my pencil because I'm kind of the secretary of the group. I always keep times. This is very important for anybody who's listening. If you want to go investigate, write everything down. As the most idiotic things, write it down. Yep. Somebody goes to the bathroom, write it down. Right back when they come back. It's very important.
Hear that on our audio, but
so yeah, always write it down. I firmly believe to this day, this is how we are catching all of these time issues.
I would agree with that.
Yeah, if I had not kept time, we would not have known about a lot of these. So keep your times. So Pam and I headed out in her truck, and she was driving, and I had the meters beside me, and I was keeping count and doing time. And we drove out, and the first turn that we take us to the first stop that we went to, we noticed a jogger jogging towards us before the turn, which we thought was hysterical because the sand hills are literally what they're called. It's all dirt roads, and it is sandy and dusty as heck. And you get the least little bit sweaty out there, you're going to get coated every time a car comes by. So we were all like, hee, dumb jogger guy. I made note of him. I put him down, saw a jogger, and we took the turn. And just after that is one of the first spots that we always stop at to take meter readings. And we sat there for a good 30 to 40 minutes doing meter readings. I had my Ovilus out. We were asking questions to see if we could get any answers back. And we did get a little bit. That's always been kind of a hot spot for us. Did our thing there. It always seems to wear out after a little bit. It wore out. We were like, all right, well, we're going to move along. And we headed on down the road from there and took a turn, and it takes you back to an old river road that we have that takes you the back way up to this river. The trees have overgrown it a lot. It's down to one lane. And we're driving along. It's a little jaggedy to get back in there. And we took the last turn to take us to the turnaround where we wanted to go sit at. And there was a guy in an old pickup truck sitting off the side of the road, staring straight forward. And we made notice of him because we were like, that's odd. It was about maybe 10 in the morning at the time, we thought.
Yeah.
No, I think it was even later than that. I think it was more towards 11. And we were like, well, maybe he's watching for deer to come through. But I was like, that's stupid. Why would you come this late? There's no deer running around this time of day.
Yeah. And we had waved, and he just stared straight ahead. So we're like, oh, we probably, interrupted his deer watching.
Oh, yeah. So we were like, okay, whatever. He's probably half drunk too. That's what they do down there. We make our way down to the river stop, and this area is a hotbed for Bigfoot. And we pulled over, and I remember it was really nice that day. We rolled the windows down a little bit and let some air in. And it was completely dead out there. The meters weren't reading anything. It was super quiet. And we sat down there for another good half hour to 45 minutes, just waiting for anything to happen. And there was just nothing. And so I was like, man, I'm getting hungry. And Pam was like, I need a bathroom. Let's just head out. And, at the time, there was a little cafe in Caney that served lunch. And we thought, well, let's go dump our stuff off at your house, and we'll head up to the cafe and go over the notes and have some lunch. So we headed back, and we're taking that old river road back again, and we make that turn, and there's that freaking truck sitting there still with the same dude sitting in it, looking straight forward, makes no mind of us whatsoever, as if we didn't even drive by, just straight dead forward. And this time it unnerved me a little bit.
Yeah,
and I was like, this dude's, yeah.
It was weird. He had not moved in almost, like 30, 45 minutes at all.
Yeah, nothing. So I was just like, he's creeping me out. Let's skedaddle. So we take that river road out, come back around again, go back past our first place that we had stopped. And pretty soon we're back out, making the turn back onto the main road that took us out there in the first place. And we took that turn, and gosh darn it, that freaking jogger was still there. He was only about 10 to 20 feet away from where we originally saw him, pointed in the same direction. And I was like, why is the jogger still there? And I think it was Pam said, well, maybe he's making laps. Maybe he's going
because we were like, wouldn't he be coming back? But he was still going the same direction.
Yeah. So we were like, whatever, we're hungry, and Pam had to pee. So we haul back into town. Yeah. We get to her house. I get it. We get everything put away, everything done. We load back up in her car, and I grab my notes, and we head up to this little cafe. And we sit down, and the place is empty. We've turned our orders in, and I pull out the notes and I was going to make some notes on it, get some stuff in order. And I'm looking through, and I realize there's something messed up. And I'm looking at the time, and I'm looking at my times written down, and I go back and recount it over like 5 times in a row. And Pam's like, what's wrong? And I was like, just a second. I think I've screwed up something. And I'm going back and looking. I was like, what time did we leave? And she confirmed the time. And I did the counts for all the time that we'd spent out there. And I looked at her, and I was like, I don't think you're going to believe this, but we have like 48 extra minutes. And she was like, what does that mean? And I was like, what time do you think it is? And she was like, well, it's got to be around noon. I'm starving. And I was like, no, it's around 11. Which made sense because the cafe was completely empty when we came in. They were still setting up for lunch service.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
Wow, that is, oh my God.
Y'all, we freaked out. We sat there and we were like, holy crap, holy crap.
Yeah. So we ate lunch, and we didn't even really discuss it the rest of that day. Like, it was too much for us to handle at the time. We couldn't grasp it. And it was actually a few days later when we finally got back together on it. And I had her go over the times too that I had written down, and we started going over everything. And that's when it clicked. And we finally realized this actually happened. That jogger that we passed, we're guessing, is about the time that we passed over into this weird time anomaly. So the jogger was still there when we came back. So it makes actual sense if you add the times up, that he wouldn't have been very far along. It would have been as if we drove out there, drove straight to the river, and drove straight back.
Oh my God.
It was weird, y'all.
How much time?
Then we gained 48 minutes.
48 minutes. Okay.
Yeah. So when you think about it, so the dude,
how crazy.
The dude at the river, who was sitting perfectly still and straightforward and never blinked at us. We never saw him blink. We never saw him move. We didn't see him breathe. We are now wondering if at that point we were traveling so fast, he didn't see us.
Oh, wow.
Something was going on. Yeah. Because he didn't acknowledge us at all. And if he moved at all, we couldn't tell. Because, everybody, when you go by, you stick your hand up and wave. And nothing. He didn't respond either, going by or, going past or coming back by. He didn't move an inch. He was still straight ahead.
No Red Bull involved.
No. This was like 2013-ish. So I'm not even sure. Was Red Bull around then?
Of course there was.
Yeah.
Was it?
It's been around a while. You never,
No, not a Red Bull.
I was going to say, have you ever had a Red Bull shot? To go.
Never mind.
The energy shot. Yeah, we're gonna go somewhere else with this. Ron and Ron was talking about diabetic shock. Sorry, Ken.
That's okay. Go ahead.
Oh, the EMT and him thought maybe it could be, first thought is diabetic shock.
Yeah.
Maybe, but with everything else that happened,
right?
Yeah. I don't know. And it's happened since then. And Jess is right. I think the reason that it's being caught is the fact that she meticulously writes down everything. We write down the time we left Caney, you know, until we headed out, and her Ovilus, she had it set up. So every time the Ovilus went off, she marked the time and what it said.
Wow.
You know, she marked the time when we passed the jogger.
That is
she marked
crazy.
the time when we set, and and for all those times to be marked, we knew for sure. And it wasn't just us. We had actually stopped at the Historical Society and picked up a Kansas map because we were wanting to mark ley lines and stuff too. So we had pulled that out. So we were able to ask the lady that worked there at the time, you know, confirmed, yes, you were in here at this time. So yeah, it wasn't just us. It was someone else that was able to confirm when we actually went out in the sandhills.
Okay.
When you did pass that jogger, can you guys recollect anything about any changes that you may have experiences, even if it was breathing or just anything at all? Was there a dust cloud?
Now, see, I have thought about that, and I can't recall. Driving out there is so second nature to all of us. We grew up, we learned to drive on those roads that you don't really think about it. However, it was very, very quiet down at the turnaround of the river. So quiet, it was a little eerie. We couldn't hear the wind, we couldn't hear the birds, couldn't hear the bugs. The meters were flat dead, which is very odd for the river. The river usually triggers the meters just a little bit. It's just a highly charged area. The guy not moving in the truck. Otherwise, everything else for us wise, and you can ask Pam too. I don't know about Pam, but I felt fine, except for I was starving by the end because according to my head, we'd been out there for 2 hours already, and Pam had to pee.
Yeah.
So
that starving could be that you were using so much energy that you needed to be nourished.
Maybe.
You know, I mean, have you ever gone ghost hunting? I mean, and when you get done, you've used so much energy, you're just starving. That's why paranormal people eat. That's why we eat. We're always looking for food.
I like that excuse.
I
like that excuse.
I mean, it's kind of true, but it was almost like you guys were actually driving in a bubble.
Yes, it was very much so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Chris just posted on YouTube.
I like to explain it as like on Spaceballs that Pam and I just went to Plaid.
Yes. Good one. I like that.
Chris said on YouTube, Chris's husband Mark is in Bordertown with us, and she said, you know, if I didn't know you two personally and know what happened with skeptic Mark, her husband, it would be really hard to believe. She's right. It is. If I heard anybody else say it, I would be very sus. But
a lot of things that we experience, it's hard to believe. And so that's why when I talk to people and tell them my story, I see the look sometimes because I'm there because if I hadn't gone through it, I would have had that same look. So I totally get it. That's weird. But I've never heard of time loss that didn't involve possible UFO connection. So
well, this is an actual time gain, which is really weird.
Yeah.
You know, we actually gain time, which is really strange. That's even less heard of than the time loss.
Now your bums weren't hurting later, was it?
No. No. Thank goodness. Now this has happened to us since then too.
Has it ever happened to you while you're like
same place?
Audio is going?
Oh, go ahead.
Oh yeah. Like Digis?
Did we have our audio going at the nursing home?
No, because that happened while you and Mark were in.
We were just doing our walkthrough, weren't we? That's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can tell that one real quick if you want.
Yeah, tell that one real quick. That's a good one.
That one's a bubble one too. So we were at an undisclosed old nursing home. I can't say where it was because we do a lot of our stuff anonymously.
It's like the old hospital.
We understand that.
Okay. So this was a very old building. It had been closed down for 5 years previous already to the time that we investigated. There was a gentleman who had bought it and had wanted to turn it into apartments, and he couldn't keep a construction crew in. Red flag.
Wow.
Yeah. So he invited us in. The power had been cut to the building for years, so we knew that it was going to take a lot of batteries to run everything. So at the time, we sent Pam and Mark in together to do baseline readings. while the other investigator and I, Mike, stayed out at the truck and loaded batteries like crazy. We always try to do the little base readings, especially these old buildings. You don't know what the construction is like. You don't know how many rooms there are. You know, is the ceiling falling in somewhere? It was kind of their job. And at the time, Pam was in her wheelchair because she was having some problems, which we love because we get to put all of our equipment on her and we call her the Ecto-1.
Yeah, I'm Ecto-1. Yeah. I wear a hoodie and they can put all their equipment in my hood.
Yeah, so Mark wheeled her in with all of the meters and everything right in her hood. It was fantastic. They ran off. Now, taking baseline readings and stuff at the most should take 20 minutes or so. It doesn't take very long to go through. The place was fairly large. It was 3 long hallways with a central hub where the nurses' station would have been, and 1 long hallway that took you to the entrance. They went in that entrance there, and Mike and I waited forever for them to come out. And 45 minutes passed and we started getting worried. They were not answering their phones. Their phones either wouldn't click over or it would go to voicemail. We were getting very worried. And finally, just before it got pitch black, Mike was like, screw this, grab your flashlight. And we walk inside expecting to find them, you know, dead in a crater somewhere. You know, did they fall through the floor?
Oh my gosh.
So we step in and we step into that first main hallway and we look down towards the hub and there they are in the same hallway, heading in the same direction. And I yelled, I was like, Pam, Mark, what the heck is taking you guys so long? And they were like, what do you mean? We've only been in here for just a little bit. And I was like, you've been in here for close to an hour. It's dark outside. It's getting dark. We've got to get this started or we're not going to get this done. And Mark turned around and was like, we've only been in here for like 10 minutes. And that's when they realized that, because it had these huge windows in it, those floor to ceiling windows you see in those old nursing homes and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
What once was light outside was now pitch black for them.
It was freaky,
to them. Yeah, to them only like 10 or 15 minutes.
Maybe they're channeling a spirit from the nursing home and fell asleep in their wheelchair.
Well, you know what was weird was we went down the west wing and the lights are pouring in, you know, the outside lights pouring in. We weren't using flashlights or anything. We were taking baseline readings. He was using the meters and I was writing things down. And it was like we were seeing by the light from outside. We weren't, you know, it wasn't dark. But the second Jess said it's pitch dark outside, we were like, no, it's not. And we turned to look and it was freaking pitch dark. And we were like, holy, what just happened?
I think that's the universe telling you guys to start carrying cameras and digis with you when you're doing all that.
Everywhere.
Apparently, right? No, that was weird because really, you know, I had just not even a half a sheet of baseline readings just from that first hallway. That's as far as we got in. We just came through the main entrance area to the nurses hub and went down one hallway and we're coming back. That's as far as we got.
Wow. Oh my gosh.
Now, that's not even all of it from that night. So the whole night we're doing this investigation and the craziest things happened. I told you guys that the electricity had been cut off for years. They literally cut it at the main.
Oh, wow.
And Pam and I were down one hallway and the freaking air conditioning system kicked on one panel above us. You know, it has little panels that go all the way down the hallway. Kicked on and blew cold air on us because it was summertime. It was hot. It blew air conditioned air on us for maybe 20 seconds. And then we heard it kick back off again, but it gave us time to walk down the hallway. It wasn't blowing out of the other vents. So there was that weirdness. But the thing that really got us was, so Mark is our skeptic. He's the one that doesn't feel anything. He's the one that rarely sees a ghost. He's kind of our, he's our straight guy. And the first room that he went into on his own, he was out in 2 seconds, white as a sheet and green as he could be. He thought he was going to vomit.
Ooh.
And
he never feels anything.
So he spent the rest of this night going room to room, pulling batteries out of these deodorizers in all the rooms. You know, they had those little battery operated deodorizers they spray like every 15 minutes or something like that. They were going off all over the building. You could hear them.
Oh my gosh.
It's driving him insane. It hadn't been used in 5 years.
And you know those batteries are corroded and dead.
Oh,
They
100%. There's no way.
Really?
They were not corroded. He was pulling them out of every one of them. He got sprayed with one of them. It still had deodorizer in them after 5 years.
Oh, there's no way it would have. Oh, wow. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So this whole time, Pam and I kind of have an inkling for when there's spirit around. We just can kind of pick up on it. And this place was creepy as heck. It was as if every corner you turned, there was 5 or 6 people staring you down.
Yes, for sure.
And so with the time anomaly happening and the fact that there is stuff still functioning inside this building as if there's still people living inside of it. And we could not get a hold of them on their cell phones when they were inside the building on their own. It would not connect to them. We wonder if it's living within its own bubble.
Mm-hmm.
And we came in and existed in it for a little while.
We stood around the nurse's desk, and it was, I mean, it would raise goosebumps on your arms because you could just feel it was like you were in the middle of a circle of people just staring at you, trying to figure out what you're doing there, you know. And then after a while that went away, and it's kind of like they lost interest in us at a point. You know, we're like, well, they're not doing anything that exciting. We're just going to wander off and do our own thing again. That was a freaky night.
It was.
I want to go.
Yeah, right? It would be a good one. He still hasn't been able to do anything with that building. As far as
he can let us come up and do some stuff.
Well, he hasn't even invited us back. We actually allowed him to come in for just a little bit while we were investigating, and he was so unnerved.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Well, he could make some money off of this. I mean, just saying.
Well, between you and me, he was kind of a dumbass, so I don't think he's smart enough.
A bit.
Nobody's
well, if I had the money, I'd buy the building. I just don't have the money.
We got billions of people listening on this.
Nobody's watching this at all.
Sorry about my
billions, I think.
Oh, hey, it happens.
Now we did. I hate to move on, but I don't want to run out of time because we've got some really good evidence.
Oh, 20. Yeah, we got 20 minutes left.
Yeah. There is a cemetery. When we first started as a group, we wanted somewhere to practice. Well, you know, obviously when you're a new group, the best place to practice is going to be a cemetery, whether you think you can catch anything or not. You know, we decided to try it. There's a really good one in the area that Jess knew of, that knew that there was activity in. So that's where we started going. And so Shaw, some of the stuff that's in the drive.
I am going now.
Awesome.
All right. So we want
these will be the ones that say Carl.
I got it.
Okay.
It's up there. Y'all aren't gonna be able to see it on your side, but it is coming up here on this side.
I have YouTube pulled up on my phone so I can see it from there. So that'll help me. So if you can pull, now I know, can you explain a little bit about Carl, Jess?
Yeah, so before I even had met Pam, there's a little cemetery in our county that I love to go to. It was a very old cemetery. I'm a lover of cemeteries. I just love stone rubbings and, you know, and like I said, since I was younger, I've kind of had the ability to kind of know when something's around. And there was this one little spot in the cemetery that I was always attracted to. And something would always tug on my hair or tug on my clothes or play with my camera while I was near it. And I soon come to realize that there was only one stone that it was attracted to, and it was for a little boy. I think he was 6. His name was Carl. And he had no other family around him. He was the only one. And I always wondered if maybe he was just lonely, like he stayed behind, but none of the family got buried with him. But when we were looking for a place to investigate, you know, I was like, I know this for fact that this place is haunted. And we often Carl is still there, and we often go back and still chit chat with him. So that's what some of these pictures are about.
Yes. So that first, actually I said to pull up Carl 1. If you can pull up the EVP that says don't go, it might say Carl don't go.
Yep, I got it.
Pull that one up. Now, it's a little bit hard to hear. And once we listen to it, I'll explain something to you guys. But see, you'll hear me say, he just said something, or I can't remember exactly what I say, but.
Now watch your ears, because I do have it on loud.
Okay.
Do you want to, while we're over here, do you want to head mosey down by that tree?
Put me down there.
Oh.
What?
Carl, was that you?
I'm fishing my camera out.
It sounded like you said don't go.
I'm going to play it one more time.
Do you want to, while we're over here, do you want to head mosey down by that tree?
Put me down there.
Oh.
What?
Carl, was that you?
I'm fishing my camera out.
It sounded like you said don't go.
Jarrett,
I heard.
there's just a little bit of a sound there, and you'll hear me say, did you guys hear that? He said don't go. What we found out later after this night is that I have a touch of clairaudience. I can hear things. Nobody else heard that, but it got picked up on our recorders. And that's happened more than once. I will hear stuff, and then later on it'll be confirmed on recorder.
Wow.
Which is kind of weird. Doesn't happen all the time, but when it does, it's pretty neat. But to tie that in, we were on our way. We were going over by the trees or something. We were going down by some trees. And I was telling Jess that I was pretty sure Carl was right beside her. And so I happened to take a picture. And if you'll pull up that Carl one, you can see Jess walking there. And I'm not a huge lover of orbs, but on occasion they kind of, I think there might be something to the occasional one.
Well,
especially out in the in the nature like that, you would expect more than just one little.
Yeah.
And so where I said Carl was, or where Jess said Carl was, you can see that orb right beside her hand.
Yeah, that was the kind of the confirmation for it. When Pam had said that, I said, yeah, absolutely. He's still here walking with me. And I had just put my hand down to point because I could feel him right there. Like I kept feeling a drag across my shorts, like something was trying to touch. And I was like, I think he's right here. And she happened to take that picture, and that's right where that little orb or whatever it is you want to call it popped up at. That cemetery has also produced shadow people, something tiny, a tiny shadow that runs around, and there's what we think is a Bigfoot that resides up and down the road to get to it. And somewhere I have somewhere at one point we left a recorder up by the entrance gate where it stands at, where it unnerves you, and we left and went in and did an investigation. And when we came back, we listened to it. It had only recorded like 20 seconds after we left. And you hear something huge walk up to it. You hear a huff and a growl sound, and you hear something fumbling with the recorder, and then it goes off.
Wow.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah,
it's weird.
I do have the second picture of Carl up.
Okay, yeah. If you pull that second one up, that second picture I took right after that first one of Jess, and you'll see where it's out in the grass. And the reason was I was looking at it going, oh my God, I caught something. And then I was like, wait a minute, let me try to catch something else. By the time I got over being excited, I took that picture, and he was off by the headstones, but he's still there, and it's still very bright.
Wow.
It was pretty wild.
And you didn't catch anything like that on any other images or anything that you took out there?
No, out of all those pictures that night, those were the two that had anything on them. Which is also kind of telling, I think. That cemetery is really crazy. It's a really good one to practice in.
Yeah, and if anything, a child would be one of would be someone to stay in a cemetery. I wouldn't think a child would roam too far.
Yeah. We
Well, I've
catch
got a
all
question.
kinds
You
of
made a mention.
craziness.
You made a mention earlier in the show about little people.
Mhm.
Can you expand on that?
Little people are in our area are very much American Indian based. They're quite prevalent here, especially from the Wichita Mountains area, clear down into Oklahoma. It's just something that we live with. They're almost like house elves for some people. They pass down through families. There's the impy. There are some very impy ones that don't belong to any families that will just come and go and cause chaos in their wake. But that's a story for another time.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure. That'd be a good one on its own.
Have a little people episode?
Yeah, that would be really cool.
Oh, that would be.
We've
Maybe
got some
we
fun
can.
stuff in regards to little people.
Well, there's a cemetery not far from us that's known to have well, there's stories of little people, and I was like, little people? Are you talking about like Oompa Loompas? And they're like, no. And so yeah, it'd be kind of fun, and maybe people would be interested in hearing that. So
there's one in Bartlesville too, Shaw, that has
one what
little people in it.
Oh yeah,
people in
I heard about it. I don't know exactly where it's at though.
I do.
Oh, I think we need to make a trip.
Road trip. We can grab Jess.
Yep.
Are fairies included in that group?
Yes, very much so.
I did kind of enhance the "Don't Go" at the end of one of them. If y'all want to listen to it again,
yeah, that'd be great.
Let me get this back up.
Do you want to, while we're over here, do you want to head mosey down by that tree?
Put me down there.
I say that. We'll see.
Oh.
What?
Carl, was that you?
I'm fishing my camera out.
It sounded like you said don't go.
Right there at the end where I put it in there.
Yeah, I suggested to some of the listeners to re-listen to the whole thing later and use headphones.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and they're like good idea. So it may be that.
Yeah, we might be able to actually. I don't know if we can do it or not. If we could put that on the page where they could hear it. Actually, is that one? No, that one is not on YouTube. I was going to say that one might be on YouTube, but it's not. But I should be able to upload it to our page, and then it might be easier to listen that way. But
sounds like you guys have had some extremely cool experiences, and
very much so.
It sounds like you've got more stories, and you've just got quiet.
We have
somebody suggests my dog.
In fact,
being what it was said, my dog.
My dog. It was actually "Don't Go" is what he said. Yeah. Because he was really sad. Jess had just said, "Hey, sweetie, we're gonna go, and we're gonna be over here." And he was like, "Don't go." And I heard him say, "Oh my God!" It about broke my heart because he was like, "Don't go." Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever experienced that bubble stage at the same place multiple times?
Oh, multiple times?
Yes.
No. So the only place that it's happened that we conceivably could happen more again was when we went out to the Sandhills. The other places it's happened were like one-off places that we investigated that we have not been back to.
Yeah.
But it has not happened again out in the Sandhills as far as we know. We've made many trips out there though without taking readings. So
yeah, it could happen, and we didn't know it too.
Yeah.
Did you want to hit some of those other pictures because we're running out of time?
I do, yeah, for sure. One of the best ones, Jess caught this one well before we became a group at the Canes in Tulsa. And do you want to explain that one a little bit? And then
sure.
Shaw, can you bring up Canes?
Working on it. Yep, there it is.
Okay. My husband is a drummer, and for a very long time, him and his band would headline shows at not headline shows, would open up shows at the Canes for the larger bands coming in. And I was like the resident artist, and I would come in and I was kind of like a den mother to the band. Like I would help sell merch and take photos and do video for them. We did the Canes a lot, and the Canes is crazily haunted. So many things have happened there. But I caught this picture completely by accident. And is it up there?
Yes, it's up.
Yeah. Okay. I can see it now. So right off the bat, you really don't see anything. But if you'll look the furthest to the right, you're going to see a silhouette of what looks like a guy with a backwards ball cap on right up against the wall.
Yeah.
Right?
I
I'm
see
going to
Darth
let you
Vader.
know.
Yeah, it kind of does.
Yeah, it does look like Darth Vader hat.
I
Yeah.
see Darth Vader.
Now, the thing is there is a little ledge right there. It's literally like a little L ledge that leads off the side of the stage. Nobody can stand there because there's a speaker.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good one.
There was literally no one can stand there.
What about the guy that's playing? Is that the bass? Is that a bass?
Yeah.
Okay. Was he wearing a backwards hat at any point in time?
Well, they all wore backwards caps, but that's not a member of the band. Nobody can stand there. And in fact, if you zoom in on it, you're going to realize that he's semi-transparent. You're going to see there's a crease in the wall behind him where the wall kind of jags back just a little bit, and you can actually see it through him.
That's wild.
Yeah. It's a pretty good one, isn't it?
That's a good catch.
And I hate to run through these, but if we can move on, she brought some other pictures that are actually from her wedding. So these would be like Jess's wedding is where these will start. So it's got like one picture will be the full picture, and then the next one to it will be the close-up.
Yeah. I was a tour guide at the Brown Mansion in Coffeyville, Kansas for about 6 years, another very haunted building. I was actually very close with the family, and that's why I think they made their appearance in all of my photos. So if you look at this one, the catch is actually in the mirror. This room was used by what became later the owner of the home, the daughter, Violet, and her image is in that mirror. I think if you go to the next photo, it should be the close-up.
It's on the left.
Yeah.
You see it right at the very left of the mirror.
Yeah, you can see it.
Yeah, it looks just like her. It's Violet when she was younger.
Yeah, that's pretty
wild. That is wow.
Isn't that fun?
There's a little making it a little bigger for you guys.
Yeah, the Brown Mansion is one of the most active places I've ever been in, and I practically lived there for 6 years, so I actually became very friendly with the Brown family.
Yeah, that's
you can see her face.
You can almost see a smile.
Yeah. Oh, let me go back. I'm sorry.
She was smiling. We noticed when weddings were held in the house, it was the Browns' favorite. They loved it when there was weddings in the house. The activity would pick up in the house at that time, but good things. Like it was never really, it was never scary in there. That the house itself would just brighten up when they knew a wedding was going to happen. So
that's pretty cool.
So sorry.
We're going to the next 3.
Yeah. On to the next. This one I think is, do you have YouTube up, Jess, so you can see what's pulling up too?
Yeah.
It's the crowd.
I'm seeing the picture. I can't see it up here. I gotta see it here. I got my phone.
That's that's what I've got going on too.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah,
okay, there it is.
I'm waiting for it to pull up here.
See.
I think mine's running a little bit behind the actual.
I got a group of people.
Far left in the mirror, yep.
So is it the windows? Is
it
out there? I see it now.
Yep.
Okay. So
you might move on to the next one because this is like a background shot. If you go to the next one, it'll be more of a close-up of what she's gonna.
It's gonna be up in the window behind the guy in the white with the tie.
I can see him in the full one.
Yep.
That's Mr. Brown.
I'm sorry, I'm making it bigger and bigger so y'all can see it.
Well, if you'll just go to the next photo, it's the blown in picture. It should be.
Yeah, the next photo past that shows even closer. Even more.
Yeah. So if you just skip to the next.
Oh, there we go. Right there.
You can totally see him there.
Yeah.
Just checking
That's
out
crazy.
the crowd. It's a pretty good one, isn't it?
That is good. Wow.
Yeah. Now, what you can't see, and you can really only see this if you get it up onto like a computer and really zoom in close, but there's little kids' faces all in those back windows.
Oh, on the other windows.
Yeah,
Really?
I thought there were more faces back there.
Jess, would you be okay with us posting these on our page?
Oh, absolutely. Go for it.
Okay. Then, yeah, everyone can really, when you get a chance later, can pull them up and look at them that way too.
Sure.
All right.
I wonder how tall that is.
That right there. So this is the Mr. Brown was fairly tall. He stood at like, I think they said right around 6'2".
Yeah.
So he was fairly tall for the time. The interesting thing is this picture that you're seeing right there, nobody can actually stand there. There's a gigantic library table pushed up against the window.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Yeah, nobody can stand there.
Is it first floor? First floor?
Yes. First floor.
Okay.
Then this is the one with the Hat Man that just popped up.
Did you say Hat Man?
Yeah. Hat Man. First window on your left.
Yep, I see him.
Oh.
That guy gets around.
It does. He does.
Because I've got a picture of a Hat Man.
Is it the Hat Man? But if you think about people in the way back when, a lot of people wore hats.
Yeah.
Is it one person or is it several people or just wearing hats?
I don't know, but it's almost like
I actually tend to believe that this is actually Mr. Brown because we had spotted him with a hat on before.
Yeah.
So I think he just moved across the window. Now, there's also something else in the same picture. If you look in the middle window, down really close to the sill in front of the women.
Yeah. That's the other picture.
This
the Hat Man showing.
There. The full picture.
Hat Man.
I got it.
Yeah, that's a Hat Man. It's slower. Yeah. If you go to the second window, the middle window there, you'll see something else in there too.
I could see that being a little creepy. So,
there we go.
Karen Whitaker just said, "Ooh, wasn't he in Poltergeist?"
Right.
I thought that was Zorro.
Yeah.
All right. So the middle window, like behind the ladies, or
behind the ladies,
right down by the windowsill. Right down the bottom of the window. Now, a lot of people have told me they just think it's a reflection of the lady in front of the one facing away, but that's my grandmother, and she doesn't look like this at all.
Oh
no, she doesn't.
Yeah. There's a face there too. Now, it's interesting to note while you guys are all looking at this, just to let you know how friendly the Browns are. This is during my wedding reception. There are people eating there and chit-chatting right where you're seeing, and there's also people inside that window eating and chit-chatting. The whole house was full. We had like 160 guests.
Wow.
Yeah.
And they are quite content just hanging around and enjoying parties with everybody. That's what they did. They loved to throw parties and have get-togethers, and they loved having their house full of people. So they get out and about. We have so many photos that would come in from people who had weddings and parties there saying, "Did you see what was in the window behind us?" And I was like, "Well, yeah, that's Violet."
So is there another face that looks like on the window to the left behind the lady with the with the white collar?
Yes.
On the corner there?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if you'll zoom in, you'll see it quite plainly. Yeah.
Yeah, there's another one there too.
Mm-hmm.
They were having a ball.
About.
They were.
Yeah, they were partying away with everybody.
Okay, I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about in the back because there's some in the back by that doorway too.
Yes, there's several little faces there in those back doors, those veranda doors.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the first thing I noticed, and then I just happened to notice the one on the left.
Yeah, but the middle window is there's a very plain face there in the window behind my grandmother.
It's pretty
Those are some cool pictures.
Aren't they awesome?
Yeah.
We will definitely put those up on the page so everybody can really zoom in on them and take a
Oh yeah, that'd be cool.
Another thing that we have, this was from another undisclosed location in Independence, and it's a fairly large building, and it has its own electrical closet, and which is a pretty big room. And apparently the gentleman that used to worked in that room a lot, hated women, absolutely hated women. And so that was one of the things we were told before we went in was, if you feel kind of dread or you feel like you're not wanted, it's probably going to be this guy. So this EVP, it's called Electrical Closet on there, I think is what it's named.
Let's see. Yep.
Okay. Yeah. If you can pull that up. This was Jess and our team member, Mike. And they were in the closet together at the time. So you'll hear Jess talking and then you'll hear Mike. And Mike, another thing to explain is at the time, Mike's really big on plugging his headphones into his voice recorder so he can hear for EVPs in real time. And that's how he caught this immediately. So you'll hear him respond to it.
What's your problem, old man?
That's Jess.
Jess, go back out, please, for just a second. Okay, she left. You can settle down now.
There it is.
Wow.
It's like he just screamed in frustration, you know?
Right.
Yeah. But if you play that on, you'll hear Mike say, "What was that?"
I'm gonna try to play it from that one spot again.
Okay.
Okay, she left. You can settle down now. What was that?
Wow.
That is incredible.
Isn't that a great one?
Did somebody before that was a real person that said really it was a woman's voice kind of?
It was Jess.
That was Jess talking, yeah.
Said thanks.
He said, "Jess, can you go on back out?" And she said, "Okay."
I heard somebody say thanks.
Oh, I didn't hear that.
What's your problem, old man?
Jess, go back out, please, for just a second. Okay, she left. You can settle down now. What was that?
That's cool.
Yeah. The crazy thing about that utility closet I can't go into because whatever in there hates me so much. It literally churns my stomach. I feel like I'm gonna vomit. And we didn't catch it on audio or video, but at one point I had gone in with Mark to take some readings and I had stepped back into the area where I felt like he hid. And when I did, a broom that was leaning up against the wall came away from the wall and slammed down right beside me on the floor.
Jess was like, "I'm done. I'm out."
Yeah, that's what I don't want to get hit. So I was like, "I'm done in here. I will not investigate in this room anymore."
I don't blame you.
You couldn't get me out of the room.
Right?
Wow. I've had two 2x4s fall next to me before. Same type of deal, two different places, and I felt that they were just trying to get our attention and get us out of that room.
Yeah.
This guy, he hates women. If it would have been one of you guys standing in there, it wouldn't have happened, guaranteed. But yeah, for whatever reason, he does not want women in that spot.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think
Interesting.
Mike saying she's gone now, you can chill out was his trigger to he just lost his shit. Like, you don't tell me what to do. I don't want women in here.
I can do whatever I want.
Yeah,
Do we have one more? Do we have time? We're running a little over. Do you guys have time to listen to one more EVP before we go?
Yeah.
We got one more time. We're just
we have one more?
Here, let's go.
Yeah, we have one more. It says Janie's. Yeah, or it says it's just me, one or the other.
Oh, I don't think I got that one.
Did you not get that one?
I don't think so. Is it on the thingy?
It's oh,
I don't think
well,
I
it's
got
the
it.
one that's from YouTube.
Oh, did you send me the link for it?
It's okay. We can skip it. We can do that one another time if you want to.
Or
that
you can
house,
share it. You can share the sound.
that house could be a show by itself.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
It's that good.
Oh my gosh.
So
We can say just we can say a little bit about it. It was the first time that Pam and I investigating together asked a question and we got an answer back out loud.
Oh,
yes.
right
Very
on.
plainly, as if someone else was standing there with us answering it.
Wow.
And it took us 10 minutes to figure out that we'd both heard it and to get out of the shock because we were just like, oh my God.
So a real disembodied voice.
Yes,
that you could
we were
actually hear.
sitting at a table in the kitchen,
and
you hear me say, and this one isn't the EVP that I have, but it's at the same time. And you hear me say, can you finish this? And I knock, shave, and a haircut.
Yeah.
You know, and wait for them to say knock, knock back. They don't, but you hear very plainly, yes. And you hear me say, did you hear that? Or Jess, one of us says, did you hear that? And we're like, yes,
I have
we did.
it.
So we're talking about it.
She said,
cool.
I have it.
So we're talking about it, and hang on just a second with that. So we're talking about it, and we don't realize until later when we listen back to the recorder that we're talking through this voice as it continues to talk. And then just a few minutes later, this EVP comes up that you're getting ready to play.
Oh, that's not the same one.
That's not it.
Same one.
Oh, I thought that was it. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Not a problem.
You hurt me. You hurt
I'm
me.
sorry. Because I wanted to hear it. I was so excited. I saw a thing sent to me in Facebook, and I was like, "Ooh, this has got to be it." No.
Oh, tease.
I know.
I thought I uploaded it. Maybe I didn't. But yeah, and the person's house that we were investigating was a very dear friend of mine, and she had passed, and her daughter owned the house, and she let us come in and investigate because the house was actually the very first house that I had ever investigated in, and got me really excited about the paranormal. And so, did you find it?
Yeah.
Well, her big thing was she always says if you called her or anything, she'd be just like, "Oh, it's just me," you know, if she called you. And in fact, when she passed, I wrote a poem, and it's in her funeral booklet, and it's called "It's Just Me" because that was her passwords. It was always "It's just me." Okay.
Oh wow.
So listen to this EVP.
There's something right.
All right, let me rewind.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
There's something right behind me that tapped. Did you hear it? Yeah.
Oh.
Hear it say, "It's just me."
Yes.
Yeah, it was her.
Whispering. Wow.
Here, I will play it again on a different thing because I was playing that from the. Here, let's see if this is.
There's something right behind me that tapped. Did you hear it? Yeah.
Yeah, right there. It's just.
Yep.
Ooh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Like
yeah, we have some good ones.
That's really cool.
Oh my!
I'm sorry we ran over, guys.
Oh,
hey,
it's all right.
I think we've run over every week, and that's fine. I just didn't want everybody to be invested for like a 2-hour show. So 1 hour. We go over. That's all right. We just call it A.M.O.K time.
A.M.O.K time.
Jess, did you have anything else that you'd like to throw in there real quick or share?
No, just, interest in the Paracon. We got the Paracon coming up in September. We have so much, it's blowing up right now.
Yay!
So this year, besides a tarot card reader, we're going to have an oracle reader. We're going to have a medium doing readings. We have a handful of new speakers. We're going to try to offer some classes this year. And we've got all these people coming on board, and it's looking like it's going to be huge. So it'll be September 30th this year. It'll run all day on a Saturday. It's completely free to the public. And it's free to investigative teams come in and make some new friends, make some new connections. Yeah. So
we're glad to see you too, Nikki.
Yep, we're pretty excited about it. And we will be, as time comes closer, we'll be talking a lot more about that too. But at some point, I do want to, for one of the Kansas shows, bring our entire team on and talk some more in depth of some of the things that we've had happen.
That would be awesome. Yeah.
Fun. That'd be fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, anybody else got anything before we say bye, y'all?
Well, I do, guys. I do. Next week, you're not going to want to miss the show. Next week, I'm going to be introducing the billions of people that are listening to us. Terry Fox, he is a pastor. He runs Telling the Truth Ministries. He is a full-blown pastor, not a card carrying ordained minister from the ULC like me. But
come on. I am too, by the way.
But he does get into the paranormal, and he does deliverance ministries and stuff like that. So it may be a little controversial, but that's fine. We like to look at all sides. So I'm looking forward to introducing him to the world here and digging really deep. But like I said, if you're willing to join us, it'd be fantastic. It's gonna be a great show.
That's the 28th.
Thank you so much, Jessica. That was
Thank you for having me.
Yes. Ken, who are you going to have on the 7th?
Somebody.
All right. Well, okay. On the 14th, I'm going to have the ghost guy, Jason Alexander. He's from where I am, and he has a lot of knowledge under his belt from this area. So that's going to be fun.
You guys can also catch Jess. She and I co-host with Mark and Phil on What If Tomorrow podcast. It's been going on Wednesday nights, and we're going to move it back to Monday nights every other week. They're going to do their preparedness one week, one Monday, and then we'll do the paranormal stuff the next Monday. So we'll just alter back and forth. She's also just been on Paranormal Chop Shop with Big Willie and Sunny and who all is it? I can't remember. Is Chad in there?
Spooky and
the other Jess.
It's a whole conglomerate of crazy. So
conglomerate of crazy.
Now I want to start a whole new show, paranormal blah blah
blah blah.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
Blah
blah. Well,
hey, everybody out there.
Yes.
Thank you for joining us. Time to go.
Thank you. Yep, it's time to go.
This group of people. You guys
we will get those photos and EVPs uploaded too.
Yes. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to follow on Twitch or subscribe on YouTube. Until next week when smash that subscribe button. Until then, bye y'all.
Bye everybody. Thank you. Thanks, Jess.
Thanks.